So I'll just start a little bit. I know you have a lot of information, so I'll start about a little bit about what you know about this.
Well, we've had a series of car burglaries here in Nacogdoches County. We did some media on that, pushed that out there, informed our citizens what was going on. These first started around on the evening of 5/14, or maybe in the early morning of May the 15th is when the investigation started. And as the days went on, and these car burglaries were tied to the same group, they hit County Road 2091, which is a subdivision, North Fork Estates here in Nacogdoches County. Then they went to the next day, or the day after that, 517 to 518. They went to the Melrose area, Highway 21, East County Road 411, and they broke in a series of vehicles there. Then the next night they went to County Road 826. We had a series of car burglaries there. And then the following night on Wednesday 5, on May 20th, they went and hit a series of cars out on Highway 7 East in Nacogdoches County. So we started our investigation there. We noticed that the burglary stopped after they hit Highway 7 East, and we were able to develop some leads. I'm not going to say how, but we were able to identify one of the suspects. During some of these car burglaries, there was some money that was taken, pretty good degree of money through a series of vehicles. We're not going to say how much at this time, but we believe that, due to all that they had gotten, that they were probably had went out of town. And so we started focusing on identifying. Once we made positive identification from the first person, some tips led us to the second person in the investigation. And from there, we developed car information, and things just started kind of going our way in this investigation. We was able to figure out that both people were from Nacogdoches County, and they had left probably either Wednesday evening or early Thursday on 5/20 or 5/20 May 21st, and went down to the Houston area. So we began trying to track them in that area and what they were doing. We developed a task force. It was us, DPS, constables, precinct 4 and 1. So we appreciate everything that they helped us with. And we had vehicle information. During this time, we learned that they purchased another vehicle while they was in Houston. And but what we did not know, they actually purchased 2 vehicles. And some of this with money that they had stolen. So we stopped them on the early morning evening of Thursday 5/21, May 21st, into the morning hours of Friday morning. It was very late. It was close to midnight when we stopped them on Highway 59. Deputies and investigators, we've been set up for a long time waiting on them to come home. And so traffic stops were made. Another vehicle pulled on the side of the road. So intel is this: we ended up we arrested our 2 main suspects, and another person was with them, had warrants. We arrested that person, but they ended up buying 2 vehicles while they were down in Houston, and with money that they had stolen from residents in Nacogdoches County. And we was able to recover some property. During that time, we was able to recover some money, not all of it, but they obviously they spent quite a bit. We had been setting up on their house since that time. We didn't want to run the search warrant while they weren't there. We had constant surveillance on their house the whole time they was going to Houston. When we got them in custody, we ended up executing a search warrant, and that was in the wee hours of May 22nd, Friday morning, probably about 2 in the morning. So we had a very late night, but it was worth it. When we ran the search warrant, we found further evidence of things they have stolen. We recovered 1 gun, covered some pistol magazines, some other evidence that we knew came from cars, some credit cards, and things like that. So we didn't get all the property back, but we have solved these crimes. We did get some of the property back, so we're thankful that we can return some of that to the property owners. But most of all, these people that did these series of crimes to our citizens in Nacogdoches, we have a solid case on. We have a lot of evidence, and
Did you guys find any motive for this crime while you were investigating?
Well, the motive is, one of these people that was arrested, they've been charged for this before in the past. We've caught that person in the past, unfortunately, a few years ago. And I guess the motive is, there's committing criminal activity. And, instead of getting a job and going to work every day like honest people do, they want to go out and steal from people and try to take the easy way out. But they're going to learn that there's no easy way out. When you do wrong, you're going to be held accountable when you're caught. So hopefully that both of these people will learn their lessons from what they did and, start making better decisions in life.
And I mean, just from like the response from the community, this type of stuff doesn't seem to happen a lot in Nacogdoches, or people don't see it. I mean, is this something that people need to worry about?
Well, what we have is, and I will tell you this: we have been very successful in car burglaries here, and we take these crimes very seriously. And we probably do things that maybe other departments don't do, but we commend a burglary of a motor vehicle is a Class A misdemeanor, but of course that can develop into felonies depending on what you take. If you take a weapon, that's a felony. So we treat all of these crimes as felonies, even if it's a misdemeanor when you break into somebody. My aspect on it, of what I tell my deputies, is we need to send a message. We need to treat these cases accordingly, and we need to let these suspects know if they're going to come in our community, we're going to do everything possible to solve these crimes and hold them accountable so they know not to come back to Nacogdoches County. And that's the messages we want to send. And we have cleared a lot of cases. We about one time a year, 2 times a year, we have this happen, and we go after them hard every time. Sometimes, a lot of times we've solved these cases, people are not from Nacogdoches County. They're coming from other counties. We've had them come from Houston before. We've had them come from Angelina, other adjoining counties. A lot of times it's not so much as locals as it's other people's coming into our counties doing this. But this time it was 2 local people.
And do you think them local had a part, like did you see like a pattern in the way that they were going to different like locations, stuff like that?
Really, this was kind of sporadic of how they was hidden in different parts of the counties. They were probably just looking, nice places. Some of these were very nice places that they went to. Norfolk Estates is a nice subdivision. There's some nice houses on 21. They were probably looking for people that they thought had a lot of money or may have things in their cars, or a lot of people in rural East Texas that we have weapons, and they're probably trying to target that and trying to find guns. Guns are easy to move on the street, so they're looking for things that they could easily move, and that's a common thing that these suspects try to do when they're doing burglary of motor vehicles.
And then what can people do to keep their properties safe, their vehicles safe?
Well, I wish I could tell everybody that this was the 1950s and you could leave your property unlocked and not have to worry about it. I will say this: a couple of these houses were and we were a little surprised about it, but were in very remote places that were off the highway that you wouldn't think. It took a lot of, I don't know if the right word is courage, but I was really surprised that they went so far onto their property and through what they went through in gates to do this crime. Because a lot of people have dogs, a lot of people have a couple of these places were pretty remote and not your typical right off the highway. So I guess my message is, what I want to say is that you should always try to be proactive no matter where you live. We don't have a lot of crimes in our county like this. We are fortunate, but it does happen occasionally, and when they start, they're going to come in, and especially what we've seen from out-of-town folks, they come, and sometimes they come in a group, and they'll hit little pockets of places, and they'll disappear, and then we got to start tracking, and it's hard to do. But so you never know when it's going to happen. Our message is to always lock your vehicles, even at the house, and take your firearms out. Only one vehicle out of all these vehicles that got hit, forced entry was made. The rest of them, the vehicles were unlocked. And this was the first car that we've seen in some time. that forcible entry was made. Usually they're looking for unlocked vehicles. They don't want to shatter glass because it makes noise, obviously, and draws attention. So, lock your cars. That's the first thing you can start with, and take valuables out of the car. And, valuables is, they're looking for two things. We go through these cars after we investigate, and there's a lot of things you would think, oh, why didn't they take that or take that? They're mainly looking for cash. They're mainly looking for, if you leave your billfold in there, credit cards, and they're looking for guns. That's what they're looking for, because all that stuff is easy to move. So lock your cars, be proactive, and that's a big initial step. A lot of people in the county, they have dogs. If you hear your dogs barking at 1 or 2 in the morning, take a peek out and look. You never know. And if you see any suspicious vehicles in the area, usually a vehicle will be somewhere in the area that they're dropping people off, and that vehicle will be parked up somewhere. So if you see a vehicle parked in a subdivision or a county road that you don't recognize, get the license plate number if you can and call in on it, and we'll respond to that.
And then, have you guys released any names or information about the suspects in this?
We have not at this time. There's still, and I don't mind releasing the names, there's still going to be additional charges filed. Jarvis Harper of Nacogdoches County and Kalisha Anthony, who's a female from Nacogdoches, both are from the city of Nacogdoches. That's where they reside at. They were both arrested and have been put in the Nacogdoches County Jail on multiple charges. I don't have all those charges in front of me right now, but on several charges.
And I don't know if you have well, I imagine you do, but are these like younger people, or are these like adults? Like, what is the age of these people?
These, Kalisha and Jarvis are both younger people in their 20s. I don't want their date of birth written down, but they're both younger.
And then I have 2 more questions. One for, young people in the community especially. Sure. What kind of message do you want to send to them?
Yeah. Well, our message is clear and simple. Crime does not pay, and, you will get caught. And, and what you're doing to the community is definitely, it has an impact on people. And, it's so much easier to live life in a good way and to go out and get a job and earn the things that you want in life instead of trying to steal from people. And you never know that, none of this is worth, if you are trying to do wrong, none of this is worth losing your life over. One day somebody's going to come across the wrong person and they're going to catch them in the act. And, it's, you're on somebody's property at 2 o'clock in the morning trying to break into something. It's not going to go well for you at all. And it's not worth that. And I can tell you our message as a sheriff's department is we take these crimes very seriously. We do not ignore them. Again, I tell you, we do other things I know a lot of departments don't do, but we investigate these thoroughly. Don't always come to a conclusion with them, but a lot of times we do because of the measures that we take. And that starts on scene with our deputies and I'm not going to say all the things that we do, but we go to the next level on these crimes. And because we do want to bring these people to justice. We do want to make a statement that we will not tolerate these crimes in the county, because we will not. And if we can catch you, we're going to catch you. I promise you, we're not going to give up on it. And some of these may take time for us to get, but we're going to do everything we can to bring them to justice. And we have a great prosecutor's office, and they're going to hold you accountable. If we have the evidence, I'm going to tell you, they're going to hold you accountable. And you will, if you get sentenced to the county, you will do day for day on these crimes. I can assure you, we're not going to cut you any slack for it. And another thing that I would strongly recommend to every owner of property like guns and sensitive equipment like that, please record your serial numbers. That's important, and it helps us in the long run. And a good thing, all these guns that were stolen, we do have serial numbers on, and I applaud all the gun owners of having that information, because it helps us, and it goes a long ways in recovering these weapons. So that's a clear message I want to send. Always keep your serial numbers to all your weapons in a safe place if something does happen, so it helps us down the road. It's important information.
Well, that was really my last question, because I was going to ask if there was anything else you wanted to share or a message you wanted to leave to the community.
Yeah, that's the main thing. So